Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Lunadia33. So today I'm going to be finally showing you my first half of my majors, which is going to be from the Fool to the Hermit. So I'm not going to do a deep dive of the images totally in this video. I will do a deep dive once the full deck is done though, and I do like my own first impressions and flip through of my own deck. But I'm just gonna briefly go over the images, how I got the inspiration, and stuff like that. So let's get to it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a blurred image of the card first, just like I kind of did on my Instagram. Every time I would finish a card, I would post on my Instagram, such and such card is done, but it'd be a blurred one, just to, you know, a little teaser. And then I'll do the reveal after the blurred card. Sorry if I keep looking down because I have my iPad here and right here is the image in front of my face, but you're gonna see it right here. So here is the blurred image of the Fool card, just to give you an idea before I reveal it. And then here is my actual Fool card. Now, initially, I will say, I might post the picture that I originally had full of Fool card because I didn't know what to do with it and it kind of didn't make sense. So the original drawing of my Fool card was the jester hat, and then instead of a face I used clouds to be the face, kind of like, you know, your head is in the clouds, you're kind of not really thinking of consequences or just like living life like carefree, so to speak. So that's the idea that I had in my head, which is why I used clouds as the head for the original design. And then I also wanted to keep the animal, which in the usual Fool card, I think we see a dog. So I put a paw print on there. But after I left it alone and I worked on the other cards, I started not liking how it looked. And so I totally revamped it, and I revamped it to my official Fool card, which you'll see on the screen here. So the official Fool card now still has the jester hat, but now it has the mask. I don't know if you'd call it a jester mask, but it's the mask with a bunch of floral designs on there. And then I still have the clouds integrated within my Fool card, only the clouds are holding up the mask or the Fool's face or the Fool's head. So I guess it's still indicating your head being in the clouds, only this time it's on the clouds because it's literally on a cloud. And I still kept the paw print as well to symbolize the animal companion that's represented in the Fool card. Put it on the eyes of the mask, if you guys can tell in the picture. And I have, on each of the major cards, it's gonna have their elemental symbol, their planetary symbol, and their zodiac symbol, the one that's associated with them. So those will be randomly placed on the cards. They don't have like specific placements on each of the cards. And then what I kind of did unknowingly, but kind of stuck to it, was within the majors, most if not all of them have a design around their title. So in the Fool card, if you can see, I don't know why I'm pointing down because I have my iPad here. In the Fool card, if you could see on the title, there's like mountains, right? And in the OG artwork, I think in the background you see mountains, or the Fool is also on a mountain too. Oh, and the other thing too with the jester hat, I don't know if you guys noticed yet, but usually with jester hats, they have little bells attached to the ends of the hat. So instead of bells, I put flowers. I'm not really sure why yet. It just made sense to me at the time. Like, I guess it fit with the aesthetic of the card too, because the mask has flowers in it. And so I just felt like the bells would, I don't know, the bells didn't fit to just be regular bells. I wanted to put flowers on there. So the bells are flowers. But that is my Fool card. I blabbered a lot about it, but it's the introduction to the rest of the cards. So now we're gonna get into the Magician. So here's a blurred image of the Magician. With the Magician, again, if you guys have followed me on Instagram, you would have remembered that I posted a story letting you know how I got the inspiration for the Magician. What had happened was, for the Magician card, it actually came to me in a dream. I had a dream of, the best way I can describe it is like some sort of fairy. And this fairy, it had the body of a hummingbird, the wings kind of like a butterfly, except the wings were peacock feathers. and they had eyes on them, like literally like the eyes were blinking. It sounds freaky, but it looked so beautiful. It was so colorful and vibrant. And the actual hummingbird, or the actual fairies, like personal eyes, were very dark, like very black. You can't even see pupils or anything, but it didn't look scary, at least not to me, because usually people think of like, oh, black-eyed beings, you know, they sound freaky. But it wasn't. It felt very, I don't know, the eyes kind of had this relaxing, kind of cute look to them, if that makes any sense. And it had a slight shimmer to it, obviously, when the sunlight or the light would hit them. In my dream, it kind of hit me and sort of said like, magician, you know what I mean? So my magician essentially is a fairy, of which came to me in a dream. And so this is my magician card. I'm not very good with drawing animals, let alone people. I can't draw people for shit. By the way, because of that, my court cards are all going to be like skeletal figures or skeleton parts. But anyways, back to the magician. So I can't really draw animals that well. I can draw like symbols and weird things pretty decently, but I tried my best to sort of show you what I saw in my dream, which is, again, the body of a hummingbird, right? You'll see the body here. It has, oh, and the eyes, the way the hummingbird's eyes looked, it kind of looked like a droplet, you know, like a raindrop, but the way it was shaped kind of had the point here, and then it was round here. Sort of kind of like our eyes, but more teardrop looking, if that makes sense. So that's what the eyes look like to me. And then again, with the wings, the wings were like butterfly shape, which is what I was trying to capture with the not the proportion, with the placement of the peacock feathers. Like you have the wings on top and then the ones on the bottom. Hopefully that makes sense. And then you also have the feathers underneath it, like it's tail feathers. In this case here, it's kind of leaves, like leaves of a tree. I don't know, it sounds weird. I really wish I can like draw realistically and paint it in color for you guys to see what I saw. But that's my magician card. That's where the inspiration came from my magician card. If you look up top on the card, I have the wand, the pentacle, the cup, the sword. And then if you look on the title of the magician card, it has roses around the border. Usually with the magician card, we see roses, I think, around the top of the card, I believe. So I kept the roses there. And then above the magician, you have the, I don't know what the other term for it is. I call it the infinity symbol. But you have the infinity symbol and arrows pointing up and down, kind of to be like, as above, so below. So I have that in there. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention too, colors. The colors in the backgrounds of my major cards are particular to that card. Not only essentially, but with what I feel represents the card, like for me personally, but also things that are kind of similar to what the card initially means in general. And again, I'm not going to do fully deep dives on it here because I just want to show you the images, but I will be doing it later on once the deck is out. But yeah, that's my magician card. That's the one, well, that's one of the many that came to me in a dream, and that's what I chose for my magician. All right, so now we're doing my High Priestess card. So here is the blurred image of the High Priestess. Now with the High Priestess, I particularly felt cat. Usually with a High Priestess card, if it's like a deck that incorporates animals in it or creatures in general, I'm used to seeing owls. I'm not sure if you guys are, or people usually incorporate owls with the moon and vice versa, like anything to do with nighttime or the moon, it's like owl. But for me, I felt cat. So my High Priestess card is a cat, and it's a cat, if you can tell, with two tails. And also my cat has obviously its third eye here. The eyes kind of had the Egyptian outlining too, or design on the eyes. And if you notice in the card, the color, it's split. So usually with the High Priestess card, we're used to seeing the two pillars, right? The dark one and the light one. In my card, I did want to incorporate that, the fact that there's two versions, you know, but in this case, I used the colors. So I used the colors in the background with a more darker what is darkle? A more darker color on one side and the lighter color on the other side. But then with the cat itself is also darker on one side and lighter on the other side. So if you didn't notice, now you know. And then at the base of the cat, they're standing on the scroll, which we usually see depicted in the High Priestess card too. And of course, above the cat, you have the triple moon on the base of the ears, sort of representing the crown, or would it be a crown? I don't think it's a hat that we usually see in the High Priestess card. I think it's a crown, but I placed it on there to represent the crown of the triple moon. And of course, all around my cat, my High Priestess, is the pomegranates, which what we're used to seeing in the High Priestess card. And again, with the title, you would see the pomegranates around the title as well. So that is my High Priestess card. Now we're on the Empress, which is one of my favorites. How it came out, I love it so much. So of course on the screen, you're gonna see the blurred image of it. Now, before I reveal it though, just to give you a little insight of it. So with my Empress card, I was trying to think of like what makes me feel mother vibes, what makes me feel like sensual, soft, soothing, but like don't let the fact that like I'm soft-hearted fool you. Like I'm still gonna kick your ass if I need to, you know what I mean? But I was thinking like what animal or being or thing makes me think of that? And for a second I thought of a bear, you know, like a mama bear. I kept thinking about it, and even after I went to bed a few times, and I'm like, no, it's not a bear, it's something else. And I kept saying, talking to myself or talking to spirit, whichever you want to, you know, see it as, I kept saying like, what is it? What am I seeing as the Empress? Like, what are you trying to tell me? And then again, I had a dream, and in my dream was a swan. And when I saw the swan, I was like, Empress. So my Empress card is a beautiful swan, and right next to the swan you will see the shield with the planetary symbol on the shield. Behind the shield you see a beautiful heart full of flowers. Behind the Empress you'll see, I think these are lilies. I forgot what they are called. Pretty sure they're lilies. So they are lilies. It's like, I don't know why I couldn't remember what they were called. Like I know what the flower looks like, but I keep forgetting the names of the specific flowers. Like if I see a flower, I'm like, I know what you are, but I don't know your name. But that's what, yes, lilies. Lilies are behind my Empress. I chose lilies. Again, we'll do a deep dive once the deck is fully out, and I will talk more about the symbolism of each thing in the card. But I felt lilies, so I put lilies with my Empress card. And again, at the title area, you'll see the wheat as well. So the wheat kind of growing out of the title, sort of. You also have the other the zodiac symbol, as well as the elemental symbol placed in random sections here. So that's my Empress card. I really love it. And again, the colors, all of the colors in my major cards are specifically chosen. And I'll explain more on that later on. With my Empress card, I chose kind of rosy light pinks and then a mix of aquamarine and teals in here. I just love how it looks. It's so pretty. Oh, by the way, question for you guys, at least for like this part of my majors, I'm doing the first half here now and then I'll do the other half. But for all of my majors, I did want to ask you guys, obviously, which ones are your favorites? And then which ones would you like to see as prints? Because I am going to be doing prints of some of my major arcana cards when I do the Kickstarter. But if you guys are interested in purchasing a print now before my Kickstarter launches, let me know in the comments. That way I can kind of take a poll to see which ones are more popular. And I would be putting up prints for sale on my website, which is lunadiasoracle.com. If you buy something from my website, it's going to go towards funding my deck as well. But let me know in the comments which one or which ones out of the first half of my majors you guys are interested in, or if you would buy a print of these, let me know. If you feel you'd want one now, let me know so I can work on having them out before my Kickstarter launches, because they will be available with the Kickstarter. Oh, there's gonna be exclusive prints with the Kickstarter, which is gonna be holographic. Like they're gonna have a holographic effect, sort of, if that makes any sense. But in general, the other prints are just gonna be regular prints with like a glossy finish. But yeah, let me know in the comments which ones, after you watch this whole video, obviously, which ones are your favorites and which ones would you love to see a print of. That way I'll take a poll on which ones are more popular. And also, if you are interested in buying a print now, let me know in the comments, please. I would much appreciate it. All right, the next one is the Emperor. So obviously with the Emperor, it has a lot of Ram vibes, you know, like Ram. I don't know why I'm punching my hand, but you know, like grr, like strength. So I picked a Ram. You know, that one was pretty simple to me. I didn't really, and I was thinking about this one too, like what other thing or animal or in general, what makes me think of the Emperor? I know fire for sure, like, you know, passion, fire, things like that. Rage sometimes. I'm like, what else makes me think of the Emperor? And I thought about it for a while, and the only one that I just kept coming to was the Ram. So I chose a Ram for my Emperor. You can see by the title, there's the little, I don't know what you would call it, but in the original, on the OG artwork, the Emperor is holding like some sort of spear. Sometimes it has like a little cross on the spear. Other times it's just the spear in general. So I have the spear there with the little cross on it. And then I also have the, I don't know if it's a sword. I'm trying to like remember the original artwork. I should have just brought out a deck to look at it. Let me do that. 1 second. All right. I should have, you know what? I should have done this since the beginning just to show you guys. So this is the OG Emperor, right? Oh, there's a glare, sorry. There you go. This is the OG Emperor. Now, if you see here, they're holding some sort of sphere, right? Usually in some of the other cards, the sphere has like some sort of cross on it. Not like a Jesus Christ cross, but like a straight cross that has the same length of both lines, if that makes any sense. And then here, this isn't a sword, it's a staff. And on some other decks, this symbol here is actually an Ankh. So it has like the round sort of part on the top, and then it goes down to the cross. So that is what is on my Emperor card. So by the title, you see the sphere that we usually see the Emperor holding, and you see the staff, but in my staff, I kind of represented the Ankh more for you guys to see. So I have that in there. And again, with the Emperor card, usually it's associated with the Ram, and the main thing that I can think of was a Ram, so I stuck with the Ram. The other thing too is I put mountains all around the Emperor, which in the original Emperor card, there's mountains all around the Emperor, right? So that's what I had for my Emperor right there. So there's mountains everywhere. It's a big old ram too with some big ass horns, you know, for hitting. No, I'm just playing. No, they do hit though. And then you have the Ankh staff and the spear with the little cross on it. And then of course the planetary, elemental, and zodiac symbols everywhere. So that is my Emperor card. You know what? So smart to just use these for references. What's next? The Hydrophant is next. Now, with the Hydrophant, this is another one that came to me in a dream as well. Well, I think in this case it would be a daydream, sort of. I don't think I remember dreaming like when I was asleep about this one, but it came to me like in a daydream or like a vision, whatever you want to call it. With my Hydrophant, usually I think when you're representing, or when you're using an animal to represent it, I think they usually pick a bull, if I'm not mistaken. But for me, when I was thinking of the Hydrophant, I felt an owl, sort of related to an ent. Like an owl and an ent made babies for some reason, and now you have owl ents. So that is my Hierophant. It's an owl ent. If you guys don't know what an ent is, I will include an image of what ents usually look like. They're pretty much like tree people. If you guys know who Groot is a form of an ent, or a pretty much species of ent, I guess. So that is what an ent is. But for my Hierophant card, I saw owl and I felt ent. So I tried to mesh both together. If you can see in the image here, the wings of the owl has branches coming out. So it's kind of like it's coming out of its body onto its wings. Sounds like it hurts actually. So I have that. And again, with the eyes, it's kind of like these dark eyes, which most people would think like, oh, dark soulless eyes. But for some reason, when I saw this creature, the eyes may have been dark, but they didn't feel soulless, if that makes any sense. And if you see really, really closely, they have like little glares of light, little shimmer of light. Behind my ent owl, you'll see the keys, which here I have the card here for reference, which we see on the OG artwork down here. So the keys here, you have, I guess this would be the handle, what you hold the key as, and then the entrance part of the key here. But in mine, it's kind of flipped. So the handle parts are on the top, the key entrance part is on the bottom, and I have big old keys behind the owl. Around the title, you'll see it's full of like lots of branches. So that's behind the title for the Hierophant. Above my owl ent, you'll see a big ass eyeball. There's a lot of eyeballs in my deck, which is also why it's called the Iris deck. But again, we'll get into that later on once I get more of the deck done. But above the owl, it's a big old eyeball. And then in front of the eyeball, you have the staff that we're used to seeing in the Hierophant card in the OG artwork. So it would be this staff right here, but this little part of it. So that is what is in front of the eye. That is what's above the Hierophant. But yeah, that is my Hierophant card. It looks obviously very different from this card. Like, this is the OG artwork compared to my Hierophant card here. It's totally not an RWS clone, not really, but oh, that's the other thing. My deck is it's obviously going to be meant more to be read more intuitively. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm trying to like keep certain symbolism or things that pop out to me in the actual original RWS system, but then I'm also really probably 95% making it just my own. It's obviously going to be based more on like intuitive reads. You know what I mean? All right, the next one is the Lover's card. I had so much fun working on the Lover's card. I was also thinking like, what can I use for the Lovers? Like, people used doves before. People have used obviously just people, you know, like a good mixture of animals that they would use to just put together as like lovers, you know, things like that. For some reason, I thought seahorses. I know the male seahorses are the ones that actually have the babies. In here, my lovers appear to be two males because they got the two big bellies. You know what I mean? Are they two males? I don't know. Are they two females? I don't know. Are they one and one? I don't know. Whatever you feel they could be whenever you're using the deck, then stick with that. The other thing that I noticed too is when I put the seahorses together, if you notice the negative space between them, it kind of looks like a uterus, which was unintentional, but I thought it was really cool. And I placed a little heart, a floral heart in between them. And if you could see above them, in between them, is also the iris eye, which like I said, you'll see a lot of in my decks. You're gonna see a lot of eyeballs in my decks. I have a thing with eyeballs. Speaking of eyeballs, my seahorses' eyes, I know that's not a real word. Seahorses, their eyeballs, they're little hearts. So they have little hearts for their eyes. I also put roses on the title of the Lovers card because I think in the, where is the Lovers? So I don't see roses in the original artwork of the Lovers, but I decided to include roses in my Lovers card because roses are a big symbolism of love, among other things. And it also depends on the color of the roses for what that might symbolize. So I put roses in around the title of the Lover's card here. And again, the colors behind them are representative of other things too, which I'll dive deeper on next time. But this is my Lover's card. I had so much fun with it. And I thought it was really cool, like I said, that the negative space between them when they were embracing made me think of a uterus. How cool is that? How cool and random is that? All right, guys. So my Chariot is probably gonna be like, what? To a lot of you. But again, if you followed my Instagram, you would know. You wouldn't be as surprised or confused. But the Chariot, this one did come to me in a dream. It is a two-headed snake. And if you'll see the bodies of the snake, one of them is a bit darker, the other one is a bit lighter. Like we see in the OG artwork, you have one of the, I think these are sphinxes, are darker, and one is lighter. In my dream, I was thinking, I think before I went to bed, I was like, Chariot, Chariot. Who's my Chariot? You know, I was just thinking like, who, what, where, when? And in my dream, a two-headed snake came to me and it kind of just clicked. I was kind of going for the cobras, you know, because they can be hella quick moving, and the Chariot can be hella quick moving too. That's one of the things that we can associate with the Chariot. For me, these guys came to me in a dream, and so I decided to try my best to draw them. Again, they might look pretty freaky. They do have 3 eyeballs. Both of them have their iris eye, or their middle eye right there. Third eye, I guess, whatever you want to call it, but they both have their third eye. There are clouds above them. They're on grass. This one doesn't necessarily have like drawings around the border. The reason being is I wanted to kind of have the color that's by the border be visible, because the color that's around there has significance, which is kind of like a sandy color with some reds. Hopefully you guys can see it in the image here. But that's why the Chariot doesn't have anything around that title. I think that might be the only one that doesn't so far, because I wanted to have the color show through. If I put something around that border, it would have blocked the color. So that's why that one doesn't have anything around the border. That's pretty much what my Chariot is. It came to me in a dream, and so I decided to put it in as my Chariot, being a two-headed snake. One darker, one lighter, and they both have 3 eyes. It sounds really weird, but yuck! Clearly looking at this Chariot card, you know it's like, all right, this is gonna be purely based on intuition, because I don't see any relation to this card. This card compared to my Chariot card, right? Yeah. All right, we got 2 more cards to go. The next one is the Strength card. The Strength card, if you guys are familiar with the OG, right, you have the person and the lion. And I think roses, I think these are roses here, pretty sure. In my Strength card, I thought, what better animal or creature than a freaking lion? That's my lion. No, that was Zoe. I wonder if you heard her. But I thought of lion, and this card also makes me think of my brother. He is a Leo. With Leos, if you guys know, there's a lot of lion energy there. And the creatures that he likes or that he finds fascinating and unique are white lions and black lions. So with this lion, I wanted to sort of incorporate both. So my lion has both white hair and black hair. And at the base of the lion, you'll see its heart. It's a flaming heart, I guess you want to call it, because it's pretty much a heart with black flames coming out of it. So I guess you can call it the heart of the lion is right there, and within it, it's the Leo symbol. And then around the Strength title, I have roses, as well as around the lion, you'll see roses. So that is my Strength card. It's pretty much a black and white lion. Makes me think of my brother. This gives me brother vibes because my brother is a Leo. A lot of my cards are kind of relatable to my siblings, actually. So I think they also have a big, or my family in general, they have a big role in specific artwork that I chose for specific cards. Like this one was my older brother. One of my other cards, my son card, which you'll see on the other video update, was my mother. And last but not least is the Hermit card. I had a lot of fun doing the Hermit. I for sure thought of the lantern, right? The Hermit's lantern. One of the other things too, when I was looking at the original artwork, was granted, like they're obviously kind of like on a mountaintop, right? They're looking down at something, but the colors here stood out to me a lot. The colors back here, because it's either sunset or sunrise with the colors here going into darker blues, also making me think of space for some reason, and obviously the star and the lantern. So that kind of had, like, it gave me more inspiration. That's what I'm trying to say. If you can see on my card, the colors are sort of associated to that of the original right here, or close to it. And within my lantern, I don't have the star. I have a candle, right, lit, but sort of the light that's coming from the flame kind of also looks like a star, which I just noticed right now. But if you see up top on the actual lantern, sort of engraved in it, is the star. So I still have the star there. The lantern is on a base of clouds, which again, with the original, it's making me think like they're up high, or as if they're standing on a cloud, you know what I mean? It's obviously not, it's most likely a mountain, but I just thought of cloud. So the clouds are also behind the title of the Hermit, which kind of fit to have them there because it shows the lantern sitting on it, which I thought was pretty cool. I also have, if you can see on the side, the staff of, because the Hermit here, it has a staff. So I have the staff coming out on the side holding the actual lantern. When I saw it like that, I was like, something else is missing. I need like little creatures or fairies or something with my Hermit card. And I was like, usually with lights in the dark, we think, or we see moths, or I don't know if butterflies are attracted to light in the dark, but I think moths for sure. But I didn't feel moth when I saw my card. And then kind of like out of nowhere, like I guess I think it's called clairaudience, I heard dragonfly. So I put dragonflies all over my Hermit lantern, and that's what you see on the card here. They're all like, ooh, what is this? So they're all like on the actual lantern trying to get inside to see what it is, or they're just chilling on the lantern. This one, this one is also one of my favorites. To me, I think it's one of my more simple ones, but it was really fun to do and calming to do. And I don't know, I just love how it turned out. I love how all of them turned out, obviously, but this one is one of my favorites here. All right, guys, well, that was my Fool to my Hermit, or that was the Fool to the Hermit in my tarot deck in the making. Like I said earlier on in the video, please let me know in the comments down below if you are interested in purchasing a print of any of these right now. If you are, I'll be glad to put prints on my website, which I'll leave in the description down below too. And anything that's purchased on my website is going to be going towards funding my deck as well. So you're going to help fund the deck earlier than when the Kickstarter actually launches. Also, let me know which ones were your favorite. That way I can kind of have a poll on which I should make a holographic print of when the actual Kickstarter releases. I know for sure I'm going to make a holographic print of my Tower card, which is done, but I'm not going to show you in this video. And I think I'm also going to do a holographic print of my World card, which is also done, but I'm not going to show you in this video. Oh, and just to let you guys know, I think as of right now, as of filming this right now, I have 6 to 5 more cards to do to finish the other half of my majors. I'm hoping to have them done and that video update out in about a month or a month and a half. Fingers crossed, hopefully. Thank you guys so much for your lovely comments, for liking my videos on my tarot deck progress, for liking my videos in general, actually. Any comment that I get from you guys where you're just like, you know, mentioning good things about my deck, your excitement about my deck, gets me excited and gives me more motivation to keep going and to keep creating the artwork for my deck and to stay on track with making my deck. I really do appreciate that. I appreciate you guys so much for leaving your kind words there in the comments, and I just want to let you know it does keep me going. You are making a difference. Well, that's it for today's video. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you can, share this video. Share my tarot deck progress video updates with anybody you think might be interested in my deck. So that way we have more backers, you know, to make it come to life. All right, well, I don't think I have anything else to say, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!